study says 19,000 homes, not apartments, homes in the metro are owned by 3 companies. That's nearly 1 in every 9 houses up for rent, and some entire suburban neighborhoods where corporations own it all. Channel 2's Michael Doudna is live in Paulding County. And Michael, this is important because it drives up prices for everyone.
Yeah, when you're talking about tens of thousands of homes involved here, well, it can make an impact, meaning that homes that you see like this one that would originally have been a starter home about a decade or so ago are now for lease, for sale, but for rent.
Atlanta has more of these types of properties than the next couple of metro areas combined.
These properties are single-family homes owned by corporations, not people. And Atlanta is the #1 location for these houses in the entire country, according to GSU professor Taylor Shelton.
Hello, family. Welcome back to another episode of Journey to Harmony. I'm your host, Richard Harmon. Today, I want to come to you and talk to you about corporate landowners and how much of a dominance they have on certain cities. So here we have Atlanta is the topic of today. And in these cities, 19,000 in a small section of a city has been purchased by these 3 particular business owners, Invitation Homes and a few others. And right now what's happening, they're saying that entire blocks of neighborhoods are owned by these particular companies. And what does that do exactly? That forces it many times is in inner city neighborhoods, and which generally are going to be the most densely populated areas in a city, in a state. So now let's say you have 100,000 people, and now those 100,000 people are not able to stay in that location anymore. Now you have to push those people outside of the state. And that's causing a burden, that's causing an increase on the cost of rent in other areas, as you have more and more people who can't afford living in these areas with these Wall Street owners, and they're moving by the tens of the thousands to other areas and end up putting more pressure on those particular locations. We'll go ahead and play a video here, watch a little bit of this, and come back and talk about it. If it's your first time joining, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel, and here we go.
Just a decade or so ago, none of these companies even existed.
But a recent study found that just 3 companies, known to customers as Progress Residential, Invitation Homes, and Main Street Renewal, own more than 19,000 homes in the metro area.
The homes that most of these companies are buying are exactly the kind of starter homes that 15, 20, 30 years ago would have been first-time home buyers.
And in certain areas, these corporations can own most of the homes in a neighborhood. Take this street, where every single house you see is owned by Invitation Homes, built to rent and not to buy, impacting the entire market as a whole.
It makes it impossible to find a deal.
Jordana Haig says the end result has led to higher prices, as corporations have bought up much of the supply of homes, pushing up house prices while also allowing them to control the rent.
That's problematic because there should be more competition to keep prices reasonable.
But for others like DeMar Madison, these rental homes allow folks to try out home ownership without the full commitment.
You need a new roof? You call Invitation, tell them, hey, I need a new roof. So I think it just varies. I think it depends on the person.
All right, so while this focused solely on Atlanta for this particular episode, this is expanding all across the country. Texas has been building build-to-rent communities. They have these mini communities as well that they're building out. What happened in the past was Wall Street used to spend a lot of money investing into corporate buildings, commercial buildings. They would spend millions and millions of dollars, because everyone was kept in the city centers. Due to hybrid work, due to people leaving the cities of centers, that money is no longer flowing into those buildings, and the prices of those buildings has completely collapsed. With the structure of the building and the ownership, they're able to basically walk away from a lot of these buildings without any kind of repercussions to it. So the banks are the one who ends up holding the bag on this. And as the banks hold the bag, they're less likely to lend to smaller people like you or I for home purchases. And those who have cash, these large Wall Street buildings, these large companies are able to reinvest that money into something else. We see at the southern border right now that we are being just inundated with people crossing the border. It's expected to have another 6 million people cross the border this year, and likely to continue to increase year after year from there. We could have 40 or 50 million more people in the country in the next 5 to 7 years. With that, the cost of rent is going to skyrocket. The cost of everyday living is going to rise astronomically. And those who have invested right now, we're at a time where it seems like it's crazy, are going to reap the rewards hand over fist. And we're seeing that right now with these companies who will continue to invest. There's a reason, Wall Street is not stupid. They look up and they see what's coming 3 to 5 years, 10 years in advance. And what we see right now is there's going to be a bunking of people. People are going to be living together. 2 families will be sharing one house, 3 families, 4 families, just to help to cut down the costs. In my honest opinion, California is the model for what most of America will be. While it may not be to $1.5 million for a house in Arkansas or in Kansas, it's not outrageous to believe that prices could rise as high as $500,000 to $600,000 on average in the Midwest. And if that's the case, that means the prices on the coast are likely going to be $3 to $5 million from there. So it's an interesting time. What's going to happen with these particular, what's in the future of our society? What do jobs hold here? We'll likely see what that looks like. But right now, more than ever, we need to be focused on how we can benefit our families, how we can grow, and how we can develop. What are your thoughts? Please comment below. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining. Have a good day.